morning. I'm Emily Davis. I'm a recruiter at PNC Bank here in Fort Pierce, covering branches as far north as the Space Coast and down through Palm Beach County. And this is my friend Jodi.
Jodi Hessing, Director of Youth Programs for Career Source Research Coast. We are the Workforce Development Board of the Treasure Coast. We serve Martin, St. Lucie, and Indian River counties. I oversee 4 of those offices and about $1.6 million in federal and state funds to put 16 to 24-year-olds into jobs in college here in our area. It's a mouthful. I'm just saying it today. We're going to let her practice it. And we're here to talk to you today about cover letters, which is kind of not the most exciting topic, but really important. And so when Emily and I met for lunch and kind of talked about what we both thought was important with cover letters, the main theme that stood out for us was don't send a selfie. And what we mean by that is don't send a picture, like you see on your lovely example that Emily made for you, and don't send too much information. Because the cover letter is not really about you. It's about what you can do for me, for her, for our company, for any company you're applying for. It's not about you as a person. You have to understand that and take the personality out of it. Does that make sense? We want to know what your strengths are. We want to know how you can benefit us. So if you all will take a look at this lovely example of a cover letter and tell us what stands out to you as a mistake.
I think jump out as what you think might not be the right thing to include in that cover letter. The selfie, yeah. Sorry, say again?
Too cute for you. Yeah.
Glad you mentioned that. So email addresses, really important. There are plenty of ways you can get a free email address. It doesn't have to be your regular one you use for normal communications, but a simple first initial last name or first and last name with a number behind it. Something basic, no birth dates in there, but we don't want the too cute for you, or you've seen all kinds of crazy examples of that just are not professional in nature. They may be showing your personality, but they're not your work persona that we want to be able to see in that. So please make sure that you do keep an eye on that. And if you don't have one that you think is the most professional email address, create a new one. Just get a Gmail account, a Yahoo account, whatever it is that you only use for work purposes, and communicate everything for employment purposes from that version of your email address. Don't create that one and not use it. Got to keep emailing back and forth from that same one, not the too cute for you down the road.
Correct. And on to the point of emails, one thing that commonly happens is, we live in a day and age where you don't go and hand your resume and your cover letter into employers anymore. You're emailing everything and you're sending it over a website, and it logs what email address you're sending it from. So when I get emails, when I got 45 resumes and cover letters last week, I saw everyone's email that it came from. And if it comes from Juicy Booty 84, you're not coming in. Not coming in. Even though her email address was good on her resume and her cover letter was great and everything was wonderful, I can't bring that in. I won't. I have 45 resumes in front of me, and Emily has a lot more than that every day. So what else are you seeing on the cover letter? Grammar, yeah.
Cell Capone. Cell Capone.
Yeah, spelling errors in there.
When she said nothing I really want to stay at, it shows that she's not very, what's the word?
Stable.
Stable is the word I would use.
Stable is the word we use.
Yeah.
We want you to highlight your strengths in this, not the things that might be a red flag, because that for me, if you haven't stayed in a lot of jobs along the way, I'm not really convinced that you're going to stay with me very long either. Anything else that stands out?
She doesn't know she's a good person for the job. She thinks she's a good person for the job.
Yeah, lacks confidence.
Yeah. And maybe not even understanding the details of the job itself that she's applying for. You would know if you know the job and if your skills qualify or not, but that doesn't show me that they've done any research to figure out what this job really would even entail.
It's like she's better at road trips than
I think she might be.
Anything else?
Usually on time, most of the time, people know.
Yeah, which doesn't really exert confidence for me, that you're usually on time and most I can count on you, but not all the time. Kind of questioning herself there.
Somebody talking about herself and how she can help the company and stuff.
Super important. So she's talking about herself a lot. That's the whole idea of the selfie. TMI, way too much information, age, the fact that she has children. We don't care how old you are. If you're 16 or you're 72, doesn't make any difference at all to any job you apply for. What your marital status is, how many children you have, or if you have any at all, is totally irrelevant. We cannot ask the questions. Please don't tell us. In your resume, in your cover letter, in your conversation during an interview, it's all information we do not want to or need to know. What we want to know is, what are your skills? What's your experience? How well can you do this job? Your age is irrelevant to that altogether. So it's in her email address and it's in the body of the message itself. So remove that at all costs.
Absolutely. And one important thing to remember is that Emily's in an HR HR position, and I have kind of a different position. We connect job seekers to employers. That's what my office does. So if you send me this, I can call you in. I can call you into my program, and I can say, look, this isn't working. It's a hot mess. You can't do this. This is wrong. This is wrong. This is wrong. Why is this going on? Were you drinking when you created this? That's something that I can say. Emily can't do that. She can only look at it, decide whether or not she wants to bring the person in, and either say yes or no, no
Yes
thank
or
you.
no based upon what we see here. I can't help you fix this, but Jodi's in a position where she can help you.
Yeah, so you'll get a chance through me, but you won't get a chance when you're sending this directly to employers, which is what most of you will be doing.
Yeah.
Sending this directly to employers. Not everyone's gonna send this to, a program like mine to get it screened. So a lot of times Emily gets this and can't do anything with it, and when she's receiving 75 to 100 resumes and cover letters a day, if you are sending this, you're never gonna get a face-to-face contact.
And that's the goal behind the cover letter, is to have the person reading it, whether it's an agency like Jodi's or if it's a direct employer like myself, that we can see your skills and your experience. We can figure out that you have enough potential to be considered for this role, that we want to spend more time to look at your resume in more detail. So the cover letter helps us figure out, do we invest the time in really digging through your resume to figure out how long have you been in a job, what skills did you have, what are your responsibilities, and beyond that, if your resume looks good, have you come in and meet us in person. That in-person interview is so important, and these are the steps to help get you there. If this is not strong enough, you won't get to that interview to really show all those detailed parts of your personality that we like to see and how that fits in this job. So take some time to craft an offer letter or a cover letter that's strong, that relates to the company itself. If you turn over the form itself, you'll see a better example on the back. And the first paragraph tells me that you've done some research. You know who the company is, you know how we're doing, what we're doing, things that stand out as to why we were of interest to you. That you've actually figured out what job you're applying for. It lets me know you've taken the time to do a little bit of research. That's really important. The whole idea behind flattery and inquiry go a long way. Show me that you know who we are and that you like who we are and want to be part of that organization.
You're playing on human nature here, remember, you're always gonna be playing on human nature. And so if I receive a cover letter, I was hiring last week, and when I received a cover letter that said, I heard that, I've heard a lot about the youth programs you do in the county, and you're doing great things, and I really wanna be a part of it. And I'm like, come on in. You're getting in, come on in. You wanna talk about what I do? Because I'm passionate about what I do, and any company that's worth working for is going to be passionate about what they do and believe in it. And if you show a little bit of initiative to be a part of that, they're gonna bring you in for an interview. Okay, I glanced over the resume. The cover letter did it for me. Another thing that we want to point out is that when you send those cover letters, you want to make sure that they are the body of the email. So you know how you can send, when you send a cover letter, it really needs to be in the body of the email, as well as attached to the email. So your resume and cover letter should be attached, and then the cover letter, just copy and paste it right into the body of your email, because that's the first thing. If I don't have to open a billion documents, that's fantastic for me. We're moving fast. We're going through a lot of resumes. We're dealing with a lot of people. We don't have time to go through everything and open all these documents. So when it's in the body of the email, it's much easier for us.
You're guaranteed to have that visible letter immediately. The first thing that person's going to see is your information that you've crafted for them, not the, please see attached resume and cover letter. That first glance immediately is going to be all about you and why you would like to come in and meet with us or meet with whomever you're applying with. Is there anything that you think that in the second page stands out as being really quality or strong information that was included?
Because about previous work, like what they did exactly, not just like.
Yes. So it tells me that you have done your research, number one, in the first paragraph, that you know what job you're applying for and what company. But the second paragraph tells me why you think that you're actually qualified. It's not your full resume, it's not all the specific details, but you at least know that your skills and experience, you can tell me really fast, I have work experience that's worth looking at. That the skills I have in my other jobs apply to this one. Please take the time to get to read my resume in more detail. You're catching my attention even more than the fact that you've researched my company, but now you told me you know actually that you're qualified and skilled for this job. So two things that really work in your favor to build more credibility with me as I'm considering you and maybe 20 other people for the same job. It's really getting my attention faster at that point. Questions that you guys have about cover letters at all?
What if you never had a job before? Like, you talk about work experience, but what if you never had it?
That's a great
It's a really good
question.
And you might get it a
It's
lot,
so
especially with
hard.
your age group.
No, I do get it a lot. So volunteering.
Yeah.
Volunteering is a huge, huge, huge thing. I have an 11-year-old daughter. We filled out a National Junior Honor Society application last night. She's 11. She's in 6th grade. They wanted to know about her volunteer experience. You know, she said to me, I don't know what to do, I don't have any. So we literally had to really think about times she's come to work with me and help with events and things like that, and that's what we've listed on her application. Because she doesn't have a lot. So really focus on volunteering is so important, you need to do it. Because it's work experience, even though you're not getting paid, it's still work experience. The other thing you can think about is any time that you've done things like babysitting, mowing lawns, helping a family friend, those types of situations give you experience. And you're not going to talk about, well, I was just helping my mom's friend, you know, with her paperwork for her company she owns. But you want to talk about, I've done, you know, account reconciliation, I've watched children, whatever job you're applying for, you want to take the experiences that you've had in your life and apply those to what you're going to be doing, what you're applying to do. And that's something we can, you know, our office will help with, and actually brings up a good point. Wendy has asked us to offer our services, so if you want to send a cover letter or to Emily or myself, we will look at it for you, and we will correct it. You send it to us in an editable format, and we will send it back to you. And it will be beautiful, and it will be perfect, and you'll get a job, and if you don't, you can actually come see me in my office, and you will get a job, no matter what. But yeah, that's a really great question. It's hard, because when you're young and you don't have any, like, concrete work experience where you actually got a paycheck, it's hard to figure out what to say. I mean, what do you do in that situation?
You can also use leadership opportunities that you might have had in school. So clubs, organizations, teams, places where you had to work collaboratively with other people, or you had to be responsible for certain aspects of that. So there's plenty of things you can do in school as well that can translate, whether it's in high school, if it's in college, that are certainly relevant skills that you're building. You may not have been paid for those skills, but you've developed them over time. So you can find creative ways to pull some of that experience and how you've been able to expand your horizons, your skills, your aptitudes in other areas.
And I would just strongly suggest that if you do have to go the volunteering route to get some work experience, that you stick to what you're interested in becoming. So if you want to be a nurse, you need to go volunteer at the hospital, nursing homes, places like that. If you want to work with children, you need to go volunteer at school.
Correct.
If you want to do what I do, you need to come volunteer with me. Okay, that's it. No, enough career source plugs. All right, we're going to give you our card so that if you want to contact us, you have our information.
I'm a junior in high school, and I did the enrollment and everything, but I don't even have a resume, which I think is pretty
Well,
bad.
and
So-
I think this
and
is
I
a
don't
great
know
time to
how
start
to
building that.
Where
Yeah.
do you live?
I live in Town Park Traditions.
Okay, so I have an office in St. Lucie, so you can come and see us.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, yes.
And if you're not looking for a job yet, now's the perfect time to start building that resume.
Yeah.
That you can at least think about, if I want to get a
cover it
job
up.
in the next year or two,
I don't want to see
what
it
kind
yet.
of things can I do? What clubs or organizations, how can I raise my hand to be in a leadership role? What can I do to step up? And
Nothing's
show
wrong
that your
with but in a
responsibility
professional
is increasing over time, that even though you're not in a job or you're being paid, you're asking for. We tell people in employment purposes all the time,
It's too much personality.
show us that you can do the job you want, not the one you have today, but the one you want next. So if the job you want is going to be in a particular field, show us now as you're kind of building your skills that you are trying to develop to get to that point.
So, I mean,
If I have a job, is